Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United travelling to Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. This preview is brought to you by BetMate, the fantasy football app. I'll be getting into that a little bit later on. Joining me today is Nick from Real Reds Talk from Eccles. Yep. Eccles massive in the house, finally. Nick, thanks for joining us. We go into this game with a little bit of an injury crisis. Now, I don't like using those words loosely. You know, injury crisis, people say that when you've got one or two players missing. But we have got quite a few who are unavailable. I think there's doubts over Shaw, McTominay. We know that Rashford, Martinez, Varane is highly unlikely as well. Garnacho. I mean, there's some key players there that are missing. Does that worry you?
At the key part of the season as well, right towards the end, dragging ourselves, and this is where the secondary squad players need to come in and need to show up and show what they're all about. Because if they want opportunities, they've been waiting for it all season. Now's your time, go get it. It
certainly is, and you talk about squad and strength in depth and things like that. We have got some good players. You look at the way Marcel Sabitzer came in for the recent game in the Europa League against Sevilla, did a very good job. He's a player that I like. You look at players like Facundo Pellistri, he's done bits when he's come on. There's other players there where you think, you know what, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I've got obviously some players who've come back from injury, including Andy Martial. You just worry a little bit when it's so many players. I do anyway. When it's so many players who would be starting, then you start to think, especially when, like you say, it's business end of the season. Every game is, it's a tough one, and it's just like, is there certain areas where we are a little bit too weak?
Especially when you look at last night's game, when you see Weghorst and Elanga coming on, like, with all due respect, the biggest teams around the world, they're not going to be bringing on Weghorst. Man City's going to bring on a Mahrez, or as much as I hate to say it, because it's a team across the pond, but they are going to be bringing on world-class players, and it makes a difference. We're bringing on Weghorst, Burnley player, Elanga. It's a little bit unfair because Elanga was, he's our only good player under Ragnick. You know what I mean? He was the one who looked like the shining light, but he fell off a little bit. Maybe he needs a loan. But yeah, the lacking qualities, the gaps like that.
One positive thing, though, we don't be too negative because there are some reasons to be positive. We know I mentioned Andy Martial coming back. We expect him to start in this game. Also, as well, Casemiro, he's had his ban. Yet another ban. He's got this out of the way now. His 4-game ban for his red card against Southampton. He obviously came back in the Europa League. We know what he's about, but he's back for the game against Nottingham Forest. How big a miss has he been?
For me, Jay, he's the biggest. He's the best player in his position right now. In the defensive midfield, there's not a player near him. One thing I will say about Casemiro, though, is the odd time when he does come back, he does look a little bit rusty. There's some cobwebs there. That's the only criticism of him. Apart from that, he's a 9.99 out of 10. Our most important player for sure, and I think he's going to be one of the key figures to get us through these next games as well, with so many players out. Yeah,
I'm just going to run through a couple of Casemiro stats because, like you say, when you watch Casemiro, you can see the influence that he has. We know just from sort of the win percentage with him and without him in the team how important he is. But in terms of sort of the numbers, if you will, I mean, it's like interceptions per 90 is 1.6, which is the highest in the United squad. Another one that's quite high is fouls committed per 90, which is 2.4, which is the highest in the United squad. Red cards, 2, which is the highest in the United squad. I don't want to be too harsh on him, though, because, listen, we know his influence, in terms of not just that, it's like assists 3. You wouldn't think his assists is big. He's the 4th highest in the United squad. Considering he's a deep line midfielder who's renowned for sort of getting all the ball and just sticking a foot in and stuff like that. The fact that he can pop up with an assist is good. He's even got a couple of goals. So it's not just the numbers, though, with Casemiro, is it? For me, there seems to be a little bit more just confidence and assurity throughout the team when he's playing.
Yeah, and against other teams as well. If you're coming up against a team without a Casemiro, and again, with all due respect, it's McTominay in the midfield, you fancy your chances a lot more. He's been doing it for years. He was absolutely world class at Real Madrid, and he's brought that class over with him. And when he got signed, you remember the people that were saying like 30 years old, he's not going to do blah, 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 all that absolute crap. Now, £60 million, if you're looking at what some of the players are going for in the Premier League and stuff, it's looking like a bargain.
No, it is definitely, and it's a shame that he has missed so many games because every time he is unavailable, you can see the difference. But coming back into a tough game against Nottingham Forest, who are fighting for their lives, it isn't going to be easy. And you need someone like Casemiro, not just because of the ability he's got, the tackles he makes, interceptions, steadies the ship, that leadership is there.
Absolutely.
This is, as you said, a guy that has absolutely won the lot at Real Madrid and worn the t-shirt. And I can't wait to see him back in action in the Premier League. With all that being said then, Nick, give us your predicted. This is the team you think Erik Ten Hag is going to start with against Nottingham Forest.
It's hard, isn't it? because you don't know who he's going to throw in, who's going to drop out, who's available in terms of fitness. But what I've gone for David De Gea in net, of course, your steady goalkeeper. Diego Dalot at right back, Lindelof and Maguire at the back, but maybe you could see a Shaw if you. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. It's a bit of a minefield, isn't it? But I'll go Maguire and Lindelof at the back, Luke Shaw at left back, and then I'll go with Casemiro. Sabitzer again? No, Eriksen. I'll go Eriksen. That's the one I was kind of toying with as well. Yeah. And then Bruno Fernandes, Antony, Martial, and Jadon Sancho.
I mean, we know Marcus isn't back. I think there was some sort of question marks as to whether Shaw's been available. You think if he could be. Yeah. He's in there. The others we've mentioned are obviously unavailable. Big responsibility on Anthony Martial with Marcus Rashford out. Did very well beginning against Sevilla, didn't he? Yeah. Had a hand in both the goals, I think, as well. We need him to step up with Marcus out there because we have struggled for goals without Marcus Rashford. Not
only just that, the quality he brings off the ball and on the ball, but the assist last night he got for Sabitzer, eye of the needle. It was like prime Ozil in 09 for Real Madrid. Like, absolutely sensational. And Weghorst doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. So he has to stay fit now. It's critical he stays fit until the end of the season.
Fingers crossed, man.
Fingers crossed.
I hope he does. Season. It's such a shame because pre-season he was flying, and then when he had these cameos or these appearances early doors, you know, the game against Manchester City, one or two other games as well, banging in goals, but then he just keeps getting injured. My team is very similar to yours. Goes to mine. I've took a gamble there, Luke Shaw. We don't know for definite he's going to be fit, but we'll wait and see what's happening. I've gone with Aaron Wan-Bissaka on right back. Again, it might be Diogo Dalot. Midfield, Casemiro being back. Eriksen, now he's had a few games, a couple of games, to get himself ready for this one. So I think the midfield is going to be key. And I think Bruno, Casemiro and Eriksen coming in makes sense. Especially Bruno. Well, we know Bruno's going to start anyway, but he's going to miss, obviously, the away leg at Sevilla. Sancho, Martial and Antony. I want to see something from Jadon Sancho in this game. He's been a bit up and down since he returned from his little layoff. We've seen what he can do. We've seen some goals and moments of, real sort of class. Absolutely. There's other games where he's drifted out of it a little bit and been a little bit frustrating. So I think this is an opportunity for him to step up, as well as the players that we've mentioned also. Talking about the opposition, let's have a little chat about the opposition. Now, Nottingham Forest are, they're having one. Let's just put it that way. The last 5 games, they've drawn 1 and they've lost 4. And if you look at some of those defeats as well, the games that you need to be picking up some points when losing against the likes of Leeds and Villa as well is a bit of one. Drawing at home to Wolves, you should be maybe looking to do a bit better than that if you are going to survive. What do you make of Nottingham Forest? Because they went out in the summer, didn't they? And they bought loads of players. I mean, they had Henderson on loan off us, Lingard obviously on a free. It's not quite worked out for him, has it?
I feel like most teams at the bottom of the table, from like 12th to 20th, they've had a bit of a rollercoaster ride, haven't you? And Forest has been a part of that. I think when they gave Steve Cooper the new contract, he kind of got that uplift and a bit of upturn in form. They've got really good home form, but then, like that suggests that even the last 10 league games, they've only won 1, and that was 10 games ago against Leeds as well. So
tricky, going to be tricky. Great. One player who can cause you a few problems is Johnson. He's been banging in goals, 8 goals, 2 assists. A decent return for a team that are languishing right near the bottom of the table. He's certainly one of the danger men. He also looks really good on the ball. With all that being said, I want to talk to you a little bit about BetMate. We're going to have our BetMate teams now. BetMate is the fantasy football app. Now, basically, what it is, you don't just play against the bookies. You play against your mates as well. You can play against other players. And for this weekend, there's a £500 pot available. You can win a share of £500 for the Manchester United or the Nottingham Forest versus United game. What the sort of listeners or the viewers, have said about BetMate, we've seen some comments that said it's fun with low stakes. They much prefer it to the traditional way of betting. And since the start of the season, 35 grand has been won on the Manchester United pots. And that is one of the best things to say about BetMate. Someone always wins. Joe Smith, who's usually sat next to me on these previews, has won a few quid and he's not shut up about it since. Now, if you take part in a paid pot using the code Paddock10, use that code as a link in the description. You can get a £10 free bet once you've played a paid pot. We've got our BetMate teams here. You have 6 players from one team. So, Nick, I'll look at yours first. If you can bring that up. There we go. You can see you've gone with De Gea, Maguire, Dalot, Sabitzer, Fernandes, Martial as your captain, and you've gone with Johnson there as your Forest player. And also worth remembering, you get points. It's all powered by Opta-Stats. You get points for things like tackles and interceptions and all that stuff. It's not just goals and assists, even though they're important. We'll go to my team. Have a quick look at my team as well. I've put Casemiro and Fernandes as my captain and vice captain. Extra points. I've gone with Johnson as well because of the reasons we spoke about.
Dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous and Martial. And it's also interesting to see I've gone with Maguire because I think he's going to start, as we both mentioned there, because of the injury crisis we've got. So make sure you are going checking out the link in the description for BetMate. Like I said, a few of us have won a few quid. So if we can, I think...
That's where Joe is now. He's on holiday.
Yeah, exactly. He's enjoying his best life. No, but you can... I think if we can, anyone can. With all that being said, with everything we've talked about, the injuries, Casemiro coming back, Martial potentially stepping up, the fact that Nottingham Forest are struggling, give us your score prediction, my friend.
I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be tough, like we mentioned, with the squad injuries. I think I'll go with a 1-0. I think it's going to be scruffy 1-0.
So
I know that might sound pessimistic to people, but I just think it's...
No, you've not heard mine yet.
Yeah. I'm going 1-0, yeah. Martial to score.
Okay, listen, I'll bite your hand off. I have a worry, Nick. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like being negative or pessimistic.
Likewise.
But I don't know, man. The game seems to be catching up with us a little bit. And we've just been very, very stop-start. Our away record against the bottom half of the table is good. Yeah. Our away record against the top half is atrocious. And obviously, Nottingham Forest fall into the former category. Yeah. But I just think this might be one of those tricky days. I'm going to go 1-0. And I think that'll be massively disappointing because we should be taking Forest apart. I just worry with the injuries. The fact that we're so reliant on Marcus Rashford, who's not available, and one or two other factors. Well, Martinez is a big player for Manchester United. Varane's a big player. Yeah. I do worry.
That's why I'm hoping Shaw's fit, because the ball progression from the back, the balance you get with your left foot is so important to Erik ten Hag. That's why I'm hoping he's fit. Maybe he won't play centre back, but he needs to get back into the fold now.
Fingers crossed. Who'd have thought we'd have been saying that a little while ago? Luke Shaw, come back. You're our saviour. Nick, where can people find you?
Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel on YouTube. Check us out.
Do check them out. I've been on there a few times. Good set of lads. I'm not just saying that because they've got the same postcode as me. Although it does
United.
Help. The Eccles massive in the gaff. Go and check out BetMate. Don't forget to use the code Paddock 10 there. When you take part in a paid pot, using that code, you can have a £10 free bet. There's a link in the description. This has been the Nottingham Forest preview. That's been Nick. I've been Jay. Don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.